gruesome.
It is?
Yeah, I want you to check, like, circus, sideshow. If there are any vegetarians or vegans in the room, you may want to leave. Or like start a side conversation. Because this story is about Mike the Headless Chicken.
Yeah!
So in a very small town near where Aaron and I met and went to school together in Grand Junction, Colorado, there's a small town, just a suburb, called Fruita. Now Grand Junction is the junction of two major rivers, hence the name. It's surrounded by mesas, which make it kind of the prime location for farming on the western slope where it's mostly desert. So imagine for yourself like a tiny little inlet, the Grand Valley, and then we have Fruita, this small time little city. Now picture, if you will, with me, 1945. It's September in Fruita. A man named Lloyd Olson is working on his farm. Fruita is a farm town, as was Grand Junction before it became a college town. And his wife invites her mother over for dinner. And Lloyd shrugs, acknowledges that this is a part of being married. Sorry for any married folks who have to deal with their in-laws. And gets ready to prepare the meal. So he goes out to the farm, looks through his chickens and is like, okay, which one of you is gonna be dinner tonight? And he finds one. It's a small Wyandotte chicken. It's about 4 months old. Its name happens to be Mike. He grabs the chicken and he's getting ready to behead the thing. And his wife calls him as he's getting ready to chop, which leaves Mike the chicken a very small chance to jerk its head back, which it does, because no chickens like to be beheaded. I know. So because of the head jerk and the reaction and the chop, all this goes down so fast, Mike the Headless Chicken is now headless because his jugular has not been severed. Neither has his brainstem. So part of an ear, his brainstem, and his jugular aren't all intact. So as this happens, Lloyd releases the chicken. The chicken stands up and begins to stumble around, and then attempts to continue eating his dinner, in which Lloyd, having a moment of maybe profound realization or disgusting sort of torture, decides, I think I can keep this thing alive. And then begins to feed Mike the Headless Chicken through a small needle feeder for other baby farm animals, and is amazed and is shocked. And then he and his wife say, this is amazing, it's a miracle, and also very disgusting. Let's go tell everyone that we know. So Mike the Headless Chicken becomes famous, world-renowned, is taken photos of in Time magazine, begins his world tour. Lloyd Olson is now making $4,500 a month, which, if you think about it, and with inflation, comes to roughly 50 grand a month nowadays. He's making 50 grand a month off of Mike the Headless Chicken, which he and his wife so carefully have to feed with all kinds of medical equipment because it no longer has a throat or a larynx. Mike the Headless Chicken does attempt to crow, which sort of goes like, because he has lost most of his vocal cords. So after several months on tour, Mike the Headless Chicken sadly passes after 18 months living headless. And because of this world-renowned famous chicken, they still have Mike the Headless Chicken Day in Fruita, which both Aaron and I have not necessarily attended because we thought it was gross, but know of, and we're near enough that it was a big celebration also in Grand Junction. And that is the end of my story.